Komura Kaede really likes his classmate Mie, and he often daydreams about her, even though they've only known each other for a short time. One day, he was so lost in thought that he almost got hit by a car. They share the same class and sit next to each other, but instead of paying attention, Kaede often secretly watches Mie from the corner of his eye since they're at the back of the class, and no one else seems to notice. They've only known each other for 3 days, and Kaede has observed that Mie says quirky things, like "F off, I am sorry guys," I memes, like giving pet names to mechanical pencils. Additionally, she often seems a bit absent-minded, and Kaede suspects that she might be looking at him sometimes. One day, after arriving in class, Komura discovers that Mie is without her glasses and looks very serious. Komura wonders if she's in a bad mood, but when Mie says good morning to him, she explains that she forgot her glasses. She mentions that she might appear annoyed to others because she needs to concentrate due to her poor eyesight without them. Mie admits she has a habit of accidentally leaving her glasses at home. As Komura's seat neighbor, he decides to support Mie during this time without her glasses. The first opportunity to help arises when Mie struggles to distinguish between different textbooks. Though initially embarrassed by how mature and serious she looks, Komura offers his textbook for her to use. When she scoots closer to him to see, he gets flustered and almost falls off his chair. Eventually, they move their desks together to work on assignments, and Mie has to stare very closely at the textbook to understand it. She apologizes for the trouble, but Komura, despite feeling embarrassed, reassures her that it's okay. Seeing how closely Mie has to look at the textbook, Komura decides to treasure the moment. Suddenly, Mie puts her face very close to Komura because she's having trouble seeing who he is. An embarrassed Komura reveals that he is her new class neighbor. After thanking him, Mie goes back to reading, and Komura realizes later that he spent so much time watching Mie that he learned nothing in class that day. After school ends, Komura starts to head home but runs into Mie. She can't see who he is, so he has to announce his presence to her. Komura wonders why Mie is randomly sitting down at the school entrance, and she reveals she is having trouble with her shoes. She accidentally got the wrong shoes from a different locker because she can't see well. She tried to find a pair of shoes that fit her well but ended up with the wrong ones. Komura finds out that Mie is actually wearing his shoes, and although he is a little embarrassed, he tries to help her find her real shoes. When they get to her locker, Komura discovers that there is a frog in her locker. Since Mie can't see, she doesn't notice the frog, so Komura helps the frog escape before getting her shoes. Later, they switch shoes, but Komura notices that Mie's shoes are untied. Before she leaves, he helps her tie her shoes but is a bit embarrassed by how close they are. Mie earnestly thanks Komura for his help, and their faces end up close to each other because she wants to study his face so she won't forget it. Komura is struck by the beauty in her eyes, but Mie reveals that she actually can't see him very well. So, when she gets her glasses the next day, they should meet properly. Mie elegantly leaves the school and is able to get home because she lives very close to class. Komura later secretly hopes that Mie forgets her glasses again. The next morning, he sees Mie walking to school with her friend and overhears that she accidentally stepped on her glasses and broke them. During gym class, Komura is worried that Mie might injure herself during dodgeball, even though Mie is confident in her abilities. Komura decides to step in front of her to protect her, but he ends up losing quickly. Later, Komura feels tired after gym class when their teacher starts to yell at Mie, but he discovers that she really is dozing off in the textbook. Komura needs to wake her up before the teacher notices, but he's too embarrassed to do so. Instead, Komura tells the teacher that Mie forgot her glasses that day and needs to keep her head down to read the textbook. After the teacher is satisfied, Mie ends up waking up on her own. In her tired state, she accidentally calls Komura dad after getting close to seemingly confirming his identity. Komura discovers that Mie is sort of sleepwalking, and she accidentally falls asleep on his shoulder. Luckily, their teacher arrives to gently swat her and wake her up for real. The next day, Mie still doesn't have her glasses, and she shocks Komura by staring into his face again to confirm his identity. The next day, Komura watches as Mie continues to face challenges at school because she keeps forgetting her glasses. In particular, she struggles with helping other students by serving food because she can't see what she's giving to her classmates. Seeing how much trouble she's having, Komura starts to feel bad about his wish for her to forget her glasses, and he feels partially responsible for her difficulties. Despite his desire to help, when Komura offers assistance, Mie insists that she's fine. Komura admires Mie's tenacity and determination, but she continues to struggle with lunch duty. They engage in small talk about their favorite foods, and Komura observes as she does her best to complete her lunch duties. Afterward, they have lunch together, and Mai confesses that she made sure to keep extra helpings for him in appreciation for his assistance the previous day. Still embarrassed about the day before, Komura agrees to keep Mai's extra portion a secret, even though other students clearly see it. He discovers that the mostly blind Mai actually gave him extra potatoes instead of meat. A week passes, and Mai accidentally forgets her glasses again. She reveals to Komura that her family got her contact lenses, but she hates how they feel, so she doesn't wear them. Despite Komura's advice not to force herself, Mai decides to give them a try. Komura dramatically promises to protect her, and Mai cries and thanks him. Later, Mai is back in class with glasses, but Komura is surprised by how intense she looks. She explains that with the weather changing, she has to squint more because her glasses fog over quite often. At first, Mai doesn't recognize another student because of how badly her glasses fog over, and Komura has to correct her. She tells him it's okay as long as she can still recognize him. Afterwards, Mai asks to trade phone numbers so they can text each other in case she happens to forget her glasses again. She also reveals that she's usually too embarrassed when forgetting her glasses to ask her family for help. Soon, Komura gets spammed with messages, and the next morning, Mai asks him to meet her at the nearby train station. He finds her at the station without her glasses, and she reveals she accidentally fell asleep on the train and lost her glasses. She needs his help getting to her destination, and he agrees, feeling embarrassed because they are meeting during the weekend and outside of school. After she grabs his hand, the two of them walk together, and she guides him to a nearby cafe that Mai loves visiting because it serves a special cake on the weekends. However, when she tries to eat it without her glasses, she keeps missing the cake. Komura ends up helping her finish the cake, and she leads him to a nearby glasses shop where she can get another pair of glasses. After finding another pair, Komura excuses himself to leave, but Mai prevents him, asking if he is free to continue hanging out a little longer now that she can see him properly. An embarrassed Komura agrees, and they continue to spend time together at an arcade in a nearby park. At the end of the day, they part ways at the station, and Komura wonders if he was dreaming or if he had just gone on a date with Mai. Meanwhile, Mai heads home feeling happy, thinking about Komura. The next day, when they return to school, Mai is wearing a face mask and reveals that she might have caught a cold. Komura notices that her glasses are completely fogged over, just like their classmate Takeda. However, when she hears other students laughing about his fogged-up glasses, she quickly takes them off out of embarrassment. One day after school, Komura finds Mai acting strangely like a cat. After watching her meow like a cat, he wonders if he's looking at a cat. Without her glasses, Mai was actually thinking a white plastic bag was a cat the whole time. Later at school, Komura becomes distressed when he sees his popular classmate Azuma helping Mai. He feels jealous of Azuma and is shocked when he sees the other boy act closer to Mai. However, when a sad Komura goes to leave, Mai accidentally calls Azuma Komura because she can't see well without her glasses. She also becomes embarrassed because of how casually she acted with Azuma. Strangely, this makes Komura feel better. The next day, Mai forgets her glasses again, and she gets advice from her friends to keep her eyes open so she won't look grumpy. Later at school, Komura is struck by a wide-eyed Mai, but she can't keep her eyes open for very long. Komura is so shocked by Mai's look that he goes home very scared. The next day, Mai asks Komura to help her with a word game because she always loses against her friend Azuma. Although Komura wants to assist her, she keeps losing the word game. They end up stopping the game, and Mai accidentally says his name, leaving them both embarrassed. Afterward, they are sent to cleaning duty, and Komura becomes worried for Mai when he sees a bug on a wall close to her. Since Mai doesn't have her glasses, she can't see the bug. Komura tries to lead her away from the wall without mentioning the bug. However, Mai gets curious and gets close to him, and a classmate sees the bug. Out of fear, Mai jumps on Komura. Later, Komura arrives at his classroom to find Mai's glasses on her forehead. He helps her find them and assists her in putting the glasses on. At school, Mai overhears a girl trying to send a love confession. The girl drops the letter, and Mai tries to read it, but since she can't, she gives it to Komura to read. Although Komura doesn't want to read it, he quickly realizes the love letter is for the popular Azuma. After Komura tells her it's for Azuma, Mai misunderstands the situation and delivers the letter to him without knowing it's a love letter. The class becomes shocked when Mai casually delivers the letter to Azuma, and Mai's friends ask her if she has a crush on him. Mai continues to misunderstand the situation by saying that she likes Azuma as a friend. Azuma heads out to read the letter, and Komura goes to spy on him, seeing him smiling at the letter. A frustrated Komura wants to clear up the misunderstanding but begins to doubt himself because Azuma is much more skilled and popular than he is. After brooding for a few minutes, Mai seems to detect that Komura is troubled, so she asks him what's wrong. Komura tries to clear up the misunderstanding, but he is unsuccessful. Komura then becomes shocked when Mai tells him that the class should ask if she liked Azuma because they have become very close. Suddenly, Azuma appears with a reply letter, and Mai again tries to read it. Since she doesn't have her glasses, she hands the letter to Komura to read. With encouragement from Azuma, Komura struggles to read the letter but is shocked when the letter says, "Komura likes you too." Azuma clears up the misunderstanding with the class, and Komura becomes too embarrassed to tell Mai the real contents of the letter, even though Azuma seems to be supporting them as a future couple. On a very cold day, student Komura K struggles to walk to school. He runs into his crush, Mai Ai, who is standing in front of a vending machine to get some hot cocoa. Since she doesn't have her glasses, Komura asks if she needs help picking the cocoa. After scolding him and saying that she can take care of herself, Mai accidentally buys bitter coffee instead of hot chocolate. She mournfully states that the world is full of disappointment and offers Komura the coffee. Komura is shocked because if he drinks the coffee, he would be sharing an indirect kiss with Mai. However, Komura doesn't like coffee at all, so he doesn't end up drinking it. The next day, the weather clears up, but Komura is running very late to school. He spots Mai running to get to school, struggling hard because she is in poor physical condition. At an intersection, she apologizes for her poor state and wonders if there might be time at school to fix her messy hair. Komura ends up very late because she shocks him with a compliment. Later at school, Komura helps Mai go to the nurse's office after she suffers an accident during warm-up exercises in gym class. Komura is surprised that she seems to be in such bad condition, and she admits that she should take better care of her health. At the nurse's office, she accidentally steps on a weight scale and reveals her weight to Komura, much to her embarrassment. When they return to class, Mai is struggling to hang a poster for the class because of her short height. Komura tries to help, but he also can't reach it, and their popular classmate Azuma helps instead. Mai can tell Komura is troubled by this, and she tells him not to worry about his height. She gets close to him and tells him that she likes that they are near each other in height since she can see him better. One day at school, Komura becomes shocked when he sees Mai crying in class. He becomes worried that something upset her, and she reveals that she was laughing over a joke her friends made while reading a book about forests. Komura is surprised that Mai laughed with such emotion that she started crying. He starts to imagine what she might look like laughing, but Mai instead gets tired and decides to take a nap. Later, the students in their class get distracted by a cloud that looks like a heart, but Mai is disappointed because without her glasses, she can't see anything. Komura starts to feel bad for her since he can easily see the cloud from his window seat. He secretly takes a picture of the cloud and sends her the picture online that night, which she happily accepts. The next day, Komura is searching the school for Mai's glasses, which she lost the day before. He runs into a classmate who gives him Mai's glasses but teases him by putting the glasses on him. Komura ends up not being able to see anything and runs into their classmate, who sees them in a close position and starts to get jealous. She pushes Komura. The next day, Mai remembers her glasses, so she doesn't need Komura's help. Although Komura is happy for her, he is a little disappointed because Mai forgetting her glasses has led to close moments between the two of them. While he is thinking about him and Mai, he realizes he forgot his textbook and asks Mai for help. She immediately offers to help him by sharing her textbook with him, and Komura becomes embarrassed when she puts her desk next to him again. Later, Mai takes Komura to the glasses shop after school because she is looking to find an extra pair of glasses in case she forgets her normal ones. She explains that she brought him to help judge the style of her glasses because she can't see them well when she is wearing them. Komura feels pressured to do a good job and choose the right glasses for her. As Mai starts to try on different glasses, Komura is disappointed in himself when he doesn't have a good enough vocabulary to impress her. He struggles to think of a good opinion, but Mai can tell that he is thinking hard and wonders if he is alright. Later, Komura admits that he honestly believes that all the glasses look good on her, and that his opinion will probably not be useful. Mai appreciates his words and decides to pick another pair of glasses similar to her own. Unfortunately, she immediately forgets her glasses the next day. One day, Komura is sent out of the house to get groceries. While in town, he realizes that it's Valentine's Day and can't help but think of Mai giving him chocolate. Komura becomes shocked when Mai is nearby and overhears him. Mai didn't quite hear what he was saying but is happy to see him, even though she doesn't have her glasses. She reveals that she's pretty familiar with the area, so that's why she isn't wearing her glasses. However, she is also a little suspicious that he was talking about her. Komura is too embarrassed to talk about his feelings for her in fear of her outright rejecting him, so he struggles to come up with an answer. Luckily for him, Mai changes the subject because of all the red decorations in town thanks to Valentine's Day. Komura excuses himself to get groceries, and Mai joins him because she was also sent to get groceries. At the store, Mai becomes curious about a Valentine's Day display she can't see well because she doesn't have her glasses. She asks Komura to fetch her something from the display, not knowing that they are gifts for Valentine's Day. Komura also gets distracted by a shop employee giving chocolates, and he takes Mai away so she won't realize it's Valentine's Day. A little embarrassed that he took her hand, he becomes even more embarrassed when Mai quickly figures out that it's Valentine's Day soon and that all of the decorations were due to the holiday. She also quickly determines that he was talking about her during Valentine's Day because he might have wanted some chocolates from her. Komura is shocked to be discovered but feels better when Mai offers to get him some chocolate since she was getting some for her friends at school. Komura is a little sad about getting chocolates because Mai will be giving friend chocolate, and not the romantic kind. Unfortunately, after Mai gives out her chocolate to her friends, she realizes that she didn't make enough for him and she had run out. Komura is a little disappointed but tries to cheer her up. He can tell that Mai feels terrible that she didn't make enough chocolate. At the end of the day, Mai tells him in private that she feels terrible for leaving him out, and she doesn't want him to leave empty-handed. She offers him a favor in exchange for her rudeness, and Komura is a little embarrassed at her earnestness. Komura struggles to possibly confess his feelings, but he also feels that if he confesses now, he could ruin their friendship. He notices that Mai isn't wearing her glasses, so she may not see him clearly. Ultimately, although Komura tries to confess his feelings, he is too afraid and stops at the last minute. Mai wonders out loud if she needs to use the bathroom, but Komura corrects her, saying he has something important to share. He tells her he'll only say it once she remembers her glasses. When he's ready, she tells him she'll be waiting and gives him some chocolate she got from a friend. Komura wonders if he can talk about his feelings. A month later is White Day, and Mai becomes shocked since she has gained weight. Komura is preparing some chocolate to give to Mai as is tradition in Japan. But Mai is worried because she has gained weight by eating too much chocolate during Valentine's Day. Now she wants to avoid all chocolate so that she can lose some weight. She asks Komura to help her with her mission, and although he agrees, he becomes a little disappointed he won't be able to give her chocolate. Suddenly, Azuma appears and gives Mai some chocolate in return for the friend chocolate she gave him on Valentine's Day. Mai struggles to stay strong and avoid the sweets, trying to eat a cough drop but is stopped by Komura since it's actually a cookie. Komura watches as Mai struggles throughout the rest of the day to avoid eating sweets, and things get worse when other classmates arrive, giving her more sweets. She starts to make excuses that she can't identify the snacks because she doesn't have her glasses, so she might just accidentally eat some of the snacks. Komura and others try to stay strong, but right before Mai gives up to eat a cookie, Komura takes out his gift for her to eat. Komura is a bit embarrassed about giving her his gift but is happy that out of all the snacks she eats that day, she eats his gift. Days later, Komura finds Mai in class staring at a flyer. She shows off her points card from her favorite bakery, but she needs to send in her reward soon to the post office where the dessert coupon will expire. Since she forgot her glasses and isn't familiar with the way to the post office, Komura volunteers to take her there. Right after a bunch of their classmates ask Komura if he is free to play at the arcade after school, he declines to give himself more time to guide Mai. However, she overhears the conversation and becomes worried that he cancelled his plans on her behalf. She tries to tell him that she can head to the post office herself, giving him the opportunity to go to the arcade instead. She comes up with an excuse that she is actually wearing contacts, although Komura definitely doesn't believe her. This becomes obvious when Mai is called to read passages at school, and completely fails to read the passage correctly. Komura reluctantly starts to leave with his friends, but when he watches her have trouble navigating to another classroom, he decides to leave his friends to go find and help her. Meanwhile, Mai feels a little lonely wandering to school alone when she runs into Komura looking for her in the halls. Komura tries to make up an excuse for them to walk together, but Mai can tell he ditched his friends to be with her. She apologizes for being a burden, but Komura doesn't mind, and he becomes touched when she says she really appreciates his presence. The two of them walk to the post office to deliver Mai's reward. In the end, Komura's friends waited for him anyway. Soon, a year has passed in school, and Komura attends the graduation assembly that signifies moving to the next year. Luckily for him, Mie is also in his new class. During the commencement, he sees her struggling to stay awake. Komura and Mie get awarded for having perfect attendance at school, but Komura becomes worried when the other students talk about how grumpy Mie looks. He realizes it is because she doesn't have her glasses and tries to distract her by drawing her attention. They end up distracting each other by holding hands and playing with pressure points to help calm their nerves. Afterward, Mie is feeling a little better, and Komura hopes the other students see her as a relaxed person. He gets his award for perfect attendance, feeling a little nervous on stage but better when Mie arrives on stage as well. He hopes to spend a lot of time with her this year. Later, they get their new seating assignments, and Komura becomes worried that he won't be able to sit next to Mie again. He eventually gets his old seat next to the window again but becomes disappointed when he sees Mie sitting up front with Azuma. He immediately becomes jealous. Someone wonders where Komura is, and Azuma tells them that he is in the back. Suddenly, another girl arrives, telling Mie she is sitting in the wrong seat because she read her seat assignment wrong. After Mie moves, she starts staring at Komura. Meanwhile, Komura introduces himself to his new seatmate, Hibachi. Komura is still very disappointed with the seat arrangements, even though Hibachi treats him kindly. A perceptive Hibachi notices a sad Komura and volunteers to switch with Mie so that she can sit next to Komura again. Komura and Mie are secretly happy they can sit next to each other, although she points out that since she is in the back again, she will need his help if she forgets her classes one day. Their teacher announces an art project where Komura is paired with Mie to make portraits of each other. Komura doesn't want to fail drawing his crush, but he gets nervous when Mie watches him closely because she doesn't have her glasses. Eventually, Mie gives up and asks Komura if she can draw him how she usually imagines him. Komura is torn between shock over her imagination and wanting to keep the portrait she drew of him. The next day, Mie is with her friend Sam when she forgets her glasses again. Sam is used to Mie without her glasses, so she helps to guide the other girls on that day's classes. She also compliments Mie's looks, which gives Mie an idea to put her face close to Komura to get him to compliment her. Unfortunately, Komura doesn't know what to do, much to her disappointment. After school, Mie leaves with her friends but accidentally forgets her glasses. Komura ends up finding them after school, but he doesn't know what to do. Although he texts Mie to let her know, she tells him that they can safely leave the glasses on her desk. Since Komura is worried about the glasses staying through the weekend, they agree that he can take them home for safekeeping. Komura quickly runs home with the glasses but becomes worried that he's being creepy by having her glasses with him at home. His mother finds his behavior suspicious, but she doesn't call him out on it. After Komura heads to his room, he tries to study but keeps getting distracted by imagining the glasses as Mie. Constantly distracted by visions of his crush, he decides to make the glasses face the wall instead of his room. While holding the glasses, he ends up tempted to wear them. Meanwhile, Mie is at home using her spare glasses to read when she decides to call Komura to thank him for taking care of her glasses. In embarrassment, Mie also jokes that having her glasses at his place is like having her visit, and she wonders if she could visit sometime. For the rest of the weekend, Komura has trouble sleeping because he keeps dreaming about Mie in his room. After the weekend, Mie continues to lose her glasses, so she keeps her face close to him to recognize him. But when she trips one day, she accidentally falls onto Komura, embarrassing him greatly. The apologetic Mie talks about one time when she fell on someone and accidentally kissed them, which completely shocks Komura until she clarifies that the accident happened between her and her dad when she was a small kid. The rest of the class is too embarrassed to talk to him. Later, one of her friends comes by to point out her hair is disorganized after all her napping in class. Mie desperately wishes to go to the bathroom to fix her hair, but after Komura tells her that her disheveled hair looks good, she decides to stay in class. Later, when it starts to rain, the two of them wait in class for the rain to pass. Mie notices Komura rubbing his shoulder, and she takes the opportunity to offer him a shoulder rub, telling him that she is quite skilled at them. After he reluctantly accepts, Mie gives the embarrassed Komura a short shoulder rub. After finishing, she writes down shoulder rubs in her notebook, adding it to a list of things she can do for Komura since he keeps helping her. Later, Mie discovers a sleeping Komura in class, and the curious girl decides to inspect him. While exploring his hand, she doesn't notice him wake up, and the two of them find their hands unintentionally intertwined. A few days later, Komura finds Mie walking to school in the rain, carefully trying to avoid tripping. Unfortunately, her lack of glasses causes her to completely soak her shoes in water. Komura advised Mai to get spare socks from the nurse's office, but Mai chose to go barefoot in school instead. Seeing her bare feet made Korra feel embarrassed, so he kept his face turned towards the window for the rest of the day. Afterwards, Mai recovers her glasses but ends up locked out of her house. Komura finds her in a park, and the two of them decide to hang out together while she waits for her family. Mai invites Komura to push her on the swing, but Komura gets too embarrassed because Mai is wearing a skirt. Unfortunately, he stops the swing when their faces get too close, which shocks him further. One day at school, Mai discovers a card that falls out of Komura's bag during class. Komura realizes that Mai doesn't know it's a card with game money, so he decides to continue keeping his gaming habit a secret from her. He makes up an excuse that the card is a small allowance he gets each day, but his lie backfires when she starts to feel bad for him and offers him a small slice of apple for lunch, thinking that he is too broke to get food. After school, Komura gets an unexpected phone call. Mai, who was actually trying to call her friend Azuma, accidentally calls Komura instead after apologizing to him. She hangs up but accidentally keeps calling him because without her glasses, she can't see her phone contacts that well. She is actually at a sleepover at Azuma's and is completely lost at her friend's house. She was attempting to call her friend to find her. Since they are already speaking, Mai asks if Komura can sing her a song to distract her from a horror movie she had seen earlier that night. A reluctant Komura sings the school anthem, and Mai giggles at his attempt. Suddenly, Komura hears a sound outside his room, so he attempts to stay quiet so he won't get caught by his family. He tries to whisper to Mai on the phone, which surprises her. Eventually, he persuades her to use her phone light to navigate the house, and she eventually reaches the bathroom. After the two of them say goodnight to each other, Mai heads back to the sleepover and quickly falls asleep on her friends. The following day, after school, Komura runs into Mai again on their way home. He catches her snacking on a treat, and Mai, feeling embarrassed, asks him not to tell the other students about her snacking habits. Suddenly, Komura notices that she won a prize from her popsicle stick, and she stops him from throwing it away. Since Mai can't see the stick very well, she decides to give it to him. Komura is left staring at the stick after she leaves. Later, Komura decides to follow a cat around when he unexpectedly comes across a girl confessing to their popular classmate Azuma. He quickly hides to give their classmates some privacy, but spots Mai wandering around imitating cat sounds to find the stray cat. Komura attempts to save her some embarrassment by making sure she doesn't overhear the confession happening nearby, but he becomes distracted by his own future possible confession attempt to her. The cat forces the issue by wandering towards their classmates, and Mai follows closely behind until Komura unexpectedly takes her by the hand and hides her behind a tree. Azuma ends up gently rejecting their classmate while Mai slowly understands, by overhearing the confession, that she almost interrupted a romantic moment. In the aftermath, Komura continues to dream about his own confession one day. Later, the class is looking forward to a field trip together and needs to split themselves into groups. Komura and his friends discuss becoming a group together, but his friends quickly notice that Komura wants to be in a group with Mai instead. They also point out that if Mai forgets her glasses, he can protect her from any accidents, and they encourage him to somehow join her group. After discovering the group can have 6 students, they wonder if they can somehow join Mai and her friends together in one big group. Meanwhile, Mai keeps sneaking glances at Komura when her friends ask her about her plan for the field trip. Very aware that she is basically blind without her glasses, she proudly proclaims that she will carry spares in her bag for the trip. Her friends then tease her about possibly joining Komura's group. When the boys suddenly arrive in front of the girls asking to join forces, the students all agree to go on the trip together, pairing up Komura and Mai so that he can keep an eye on her. Unfortunately, after Mai prepares for the trip with her class, she discovers that night that she only has a single pair of extra glasses for the trip. She ends up unable to sleep that night, excited to go on the trip with Komura but also worried that she might lose her glasses. This makes her oversleep, and when she rushes to school the next day, she ends up stepping on her glasses by accident. Luckily, she still has one spare pair of glasses, but her friends warned her not to spend too much or get lost on the trip. Unfortunately, she realizes that her spare glasses were actually fake glasses she bought with her friends on a previous trip, and they are completely useless to her. A determined Mai still wears them anyway, but Komura can tell that she is having trouble seeing the exhibits on the trip and cannot complete her written assignments. He feels sorry for her, and she accidentally falls on him throughout the museum trip. Komura follows her around to try to give her hints so that she can complete her assignment, but a determined Mai sends him away, even though she can tell he is trying to help. Unfortunately, when the class heads to the next part of the trip, Mai accidentally follows students from a different school and has to be found by Komura. She apologizes for sending him away and causing trouble for the group, panicking Komura when she starts to cry about being a burden to him and the others. The two of them sit together, and Komura gives Mai some space to cry. After a moment, Komura admits that he doesn't think she is a burden when she loses her glasses, and that he actually treasures the moments she forgets her glasses because he likes helping her. Eventually, they make their way back to their class, and on the bus home, Mai tells him that she still believes he is too nice to her, and the two of them hold hands in silence. A few days later, Mai is thinking about Komura's words to her on the trip. Although she is flattered by his attention, she becomes determined to try her best to be independent. Even though wearing contacts makes her uncomfortable, she makes an effort to wear contacts to school and promises Komura that she will try to wear contacts whenever she forgets her glasses. To her surprise, Komura doesn't act enthusiastically to her announcement, and she starts wondering about his reaction. At lunchtime, her friends point out that she doesn't seem comfortable wearing contacts. Asuka gets an unexpected call from their classmate Yuika, and her other friend Sue begins to panic since Asuka might have feelings for their classmate. Later, Mai is thinking about relationships when she runs into Komura in the halls. She tells him that she might not wear contacts that often and that she enjoys the moments when they are close together. After examining his face closely, Mai gets a sudden realization when she sees him blushing, and she runs away wondering if the boy she likes might actually have feelings for her. One day, Mai shows up without her glasses again, but this time she also has a new hairstyle. Komura becomes surprised when she tells him the new style is so that she can see him better, and she quickly runs away after teasing him. This also causes one of their classmates to think that Komura and Mai are an item. But although the misunderstanding is cleared up, Komura is worried about how Mai might react to rumors between the two of them. Since Komura wants to stop the rumors, he fakes being sick so that Mai doesn't put her face close to him. But after she gives him a mask, his plan quickly backfires, as Mai spends the rest of the day sticking close to him to make sure he is recovering from his so-called sickness. Later in gym class, Mai also gets jealous when another girl talks to him, so she kicks a basketball but accidentally falls in the process. Komura helps to take her to the nurse's office, but he is just worried that they are fueling more rumors of them being together. At the nurse's office, Mai wonders if he might be free over the weekend, and the two talk about potential plans. Lee then tells him that she misses looking at his face closely, and Komura assures her that he isn't bothered by her habit of putting her face close to his, and she can do it whenever she wants. After Mai spends several minutes closely examining his face, she seems happy and calm. Later at the end of the day, they are cleaning the classroom together when Mai's hair gets stuck in a locker. Komura panics when she tries to free herself and is shocked when she suggests they cut her hair to free her. Although he doesn't want to, Komura volunteers to help her cut her hair, but he ends up shaking due to his anxiety. Mai confesses that she used to cut her hair a lot until she grew it out to its current length, but it has become harder to take care of. The next day, Mai remembers her glasses, but she ends up dropping her hair tie in class. After Komura picks it up, Mai offers to help teach him how to use it. He ends up brushing her hair and learning how to tie her hair into a ponytail, with Mai approving and admiring his work. As the class prepares for an upcoming cultural festival, Mai's hands get messed up from using too much ink, and she also has trouble working on the decorations for the festival. She needs Komura's craftsman's skill to finish her work. After Mai continues to make too many mistakes with the decorations, she becomes embarrassed and decides to leave to join her friends. Komura wonders if she is angry at him, but at the end of the day, Mai takes him to the art room to ambush him, and she demands he let her look closely into his face. Komura tries to leave, but Mai stops him, asking that they stay in a private spot together. But Mai keeps holding on to him, and the two of them spend several seconds looking into each other's eyes. All the while, Komura starts to wonder what Mai sees in him and what he means to her. The next day, after some light teasing from his mother about his nervousness for the upcoming cultural festival, Komura finds Mai on the ground in class attempting to look for a lost piercing. The incident makes him wonder if Mai actually has her hair pierced, and he isn't sure because usually, her hair is very long. Although he wants to look at her ears, he's too embarrassed to investigate. Later at school, he begins to wonder if he should get piercings of his own. Mai later shows him that she was actually looking for beads for a stuffed squid she wants to create, as the two of them are in arts class. Mai begins to wonder if piercings might be an interesting look for him, much to Komura's embarrassment. That night, Komura starts to consider whether he should get piercings. As the cultural festival approaches, the class is working overtime to finish the preparations. Some students need to stay longer, including Komura. Mai uses her family as an excuse to leave early. However, when she hears that Komura will be staying late with some of their classmates, Mai gets jealous and volunteers to stay later to work with him. After several hours of preparing for the festival, Komura accidentally finds Mai's phone on the ground. Instead of giving it back to her, he ends up hiding it. Later, Komura discovers that Mai got an urgent message to go home, so he follows after her. When she accidentally takes the wrong shoes from her locker, he starts to feel bad when he hears her crying on the way home, knowing she will be punished for staying late at school. Right before she gets scolded, however, Komura arrives at her door and makes up an excuse for her mother about why she was late getting home, earning her appreciation. As part of the cultural festival, each of the students has to write about themselves. Mai writes about not being able to win a prize from a crane game and shares an amusing story about her mother preventing her from getting hot chocolate in the morning. Komura finds her exhibit very cute, including the toy squid she has been working on. Later, after school, Mai reveals that she read Komura's exhibit as well. They compliment each other's work for the festival and their stories. Despite initial embarrassment, Komura tells her that he doesn't mind if their faces end up close to each other, and the two of them share a moment together. Afterwards, Mai compares Komura favorably to her father, whom she is very close to. But this seems to disappoint Komura, who believes she sees him only as a calming figure. The next day, the students are assigned to take a survey about their futures. Thea asks what Komura is interested in studying, but he is too embarrassed to share that he doesn't have any particular dream and just wants to finish high school and get a job. Mai shares a picture from her childhood where she wrote that she wanted to be a bride, making Komura blush. Mai starts to become self-conscious of her childhood picture and reveals that she hasn't really thought about what she wants to be in the future. She still professes that she'd like to be married in the future and shows him pictures of her practicing cooking. Thea quickly becomes even more embarrassed when Komura can't tell what her cooking is. That night, Komura goes into his old childhood albums to see what his younger self's dreams were, but he finds out that his dream was to become an office worker. Later, his mom cooks dinner, and Komura copies the picture Mai had on her picture. His mother quickly identifies it as a maple leaf. While eating, Komura thinks about Mai and wonders if his future dream is related to her. He even writes down future husband on his planning form the next day while daydreaming, leading to an awkward situation when Mai sees him write husband for his future job, and she becomes disgruntled when he won't tell her who he wants to marry. Later, Mai and Azuma are paired up for cooking class, which starts to make Komura slowly more jealous. As the class continues, Azuma gives Mai advice on her cooking and some subtle advice on how to date Komura. Meanwhile, Mai learns more about Komura and his gaming habits from his friend, discovering that he likes to go to the arcade a lot to play crane games. At the end of class, Azuma compliments Mai on her cooking and tries to encourage her to confess her feelings towards Komura before it's too late. Meanwhile, Komura is sadly thinking about the cooking class, so he starts to head home. Lee soon follows after him and gives him some cookies she made from cooking class in the shape of coins, referencing his gaming habit and his love for the arcade. After Komura starts eating the cookies, they each start complimenting each other but have to stop after becoming too embarrassed. Later that night, Komura goes through his old childhood photos after thinking about the one Mai shared with him. Foolishly, the boy takes his childhood photos to school, where his classmates soon get their hands on them. Mai is also very curious about the childhood photos, but since she didn't bring her glasses, she actually can't really tell what the photos are about. Her overeagerness to see the photos means she accidentally kisses one on accident, and Komura tells himself that he will always treasure that photo. At the end of the day, Mai and Komura end up walking home together. When she invites him to stay at a nearby park, Mai, who can't see well without her glasses, heads home first to get them. In the meantime, Komura starts to play on the playground but finds out he weighs a lot more compared to when he was a kid. Mai comes back asking if she can see Komura's childhood photos, but he reveals that he actually left them at school. To cheer up the disappointed Mai, he tries to perform a trick on the play bars like when he was a kid, quickly praying to God to give him the strength to do a pull-up. He successfully manages to do one while Mai takes a picture. She later shows him her own skills on the play bar. The next morning, Mai arrives with new glasses but reveals to Komura that they are actually non-prescription fashion glasses. They don't help her see at all. Since they don't have a prescription, she becomes curious to see what Komura would look like with glasses, so she makes him try them on. After watching him wear them, she reveals she really did bring her glasses and happily tells him to keep wearing her old ones. Later in class, Mie continues to share books and notes with Komura throughout the class until he notices her friend braiding her hair into a new haircut. Shocked by her new hairstyle, Komura wants to keep sneaking glances at her but is too embarrassed to get caught. During lunch, he notices a grain of rice stuck on her hair, so he quickly tells her about it. This leads to Mie undoing her new hairstyle, which greatly disappoints Komura. Meanwhile, in class later, Mie's long hair ends up distracting them by blocking their books. After Mie notices and starts to tie her hair, she notices that Komura seems to have a preference for her new hairstyle, so she gets her friend to braid her hair again. At the end of the day, they walk home together and she asks him what kind of clothes he likes. But before he leaves, Komura accidentally sees Mie talking to another boy, leaving him disappointed. Over the next few days, Komura tries not to dwell on what he saw and continues to help Mie in class. When he becomes curious, she reveals that she was talking to an old elementary classmate who remembered her, but unfortunately, she forgot his name. This revelation saddens Komura, and he starts to worry about whether Mie will forget their friendship and the experiences they had together at school. Hachai, Mie's friend, can sense Komura's troubles, and after he shares his worry, she reassures him that it's unlikely for Mie to forget him. That evening, as he and Mie walk home together, Komura begins to feel less worried. During end-of-year exams, Mie shares that she finally remembered her old classmate, who used to tease her about forgetting her glasses. She also tells Komura about going clothes shopping with her friends. As the day concludes, Komura starts to think of a way to ensure that Mie remembers him. However, before he can say anything, Mie invites him to walk home with her. They end up playing at the park together and sitting in an enclosed park structure. Even though she has her glasses, Mie wonders if she can look closely at Komura's face. Since it will soon be the school break, and they won't see each other for a while, they exchange a meaningful gaze. After staring into each other's eyes, Mie sends Komura a selfie of the two of them together. As they leave the playground, she reminds him not to forget her during the school break. However, before she can leave, Komura stops her and expresses that he doesn't want to wait until the break is over to see her. He wants to continue spending time together during their summer vacation. Mie agrees, and they happily part ways. In the end, it turns out that when they were children, they had briefly met each other. A young Komura had helped a young Mie, who had her glasses stolen, making young Mie think that someday she should marry a nice boy like him. That's it for this video. Watch the following video, and I'll catch you in the next one.